Life is unpredictable, but you don't have to navigate alone. This is one of the things you said on LinkedIn. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. I do believe that through life, you're going to come across so many hurdles. There'll be ups, there'll be downs, there'll be moments in your life where you're really, really happy. And then there's going to be moments in your life where you're really, really down. And usually through the happiest of moments, I've personally found somehow the world brings people to you. But when you're at your
Mm,
lowest, it seems to just somehow let people escape your life. And I think it's really important to realize that when you don't have a lot of people in your life through your toughest of times, it's okay to reach out to people. Like you can build new connections. You can go to charities for support. You can see therapists. You can join groups. You can build communities. And I think communities is a really strong thing that I'm passionate about. I guess it's through personal experience that when I went through the toughest times in my life, I found I didn't have many people I could talk to in comparison to when I'm going through loads of good things in life. And for some reason, like
right.
life just threw everyone at me.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think it's so important to just reach out to people and really find that support because it is there, 100% it's there. And sometimes it takes so much courage just to go, I really need to chat with someone and reaching out. So
Mhm.
I really want people to reach out to people. It's there, it's
Yeah.
accessible.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode. And this week I'm speaking to Vishal Narbheram, but we're going to be going by Vish for this episode. And he has been in construction for 15 plus years, and he started a company, well, a movement, according to Vish, that supports people in construction, tradespeople, mental health services with therapists, and he's got his own podcast as well. Links in the bio. We're going to be touching on his journey with therapy and the importance of therapy, and most importantly, the challenges that men face when they're seeking help in certain areas. So I hope you enjoy this episode, guys. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Welcome to Men Are Human Too, the greatest podcast at the forefront of men's mental health. I am your host, Valentin Moyo. Here we talk about the masculinity journey and most importantly, that the existence of vulnerability does not mean the death of masculinity. Balance is key. Most men struggle to ask for help, and where did you get the courage to say, "This, I'm going to ask for help now, it's time"?
For me, it was quite late in the journey when I had suicidal thoughts.
Mm,
At that moment, I realized something was seriously wrong, that I was having more bad days than good. I was really, really struggling to get out of bed. And the times I was getting out of bed would be 2 o'clock in the morning to go for a walk around my estate.
jeez. Yeah.
And at that moment, it was either I'm going to do something that's irreversible or
Mm,
I'm just going to pluck up this courage
mm,
to go online, find a therapist,
right.
and say, I'm just going to do the worst case scenario. That the absolute worst case scenario here
Uh-huh.
is either I do something irreplaceable or I go speak to someone and see where it goes. And I was very, very fortunate. I found a therapist who I say changed me from a boy to a man. And she
Mm,
gave me tools that I use to this day
mm,
to keep myself grounded, but more importantly, prioritize my mental health. And I always find a reason to stay happy and smile. And it sounds so like, it sounds so woo-woo, find a reason to smile,
exactly.
have gratitude. No, no, no. But all jokes aside, those things actually bloody matter. They really, really matter. When you can
Yeah.
stop for a very short amount of time in a day
Mm,
and just go, the crunch of those leaves as I'm walking through them sounds just nice. The birds tweeting is beautiful. When we find those small wins in life, I tell you, something changes, man. something changes. I can't explain it because I'm not
Mm.
very good with my vocabulary. I'm not 100% there yet,
Mm.
but it
Oh, you're good.
really just, it just brings you in a bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when you've got like hundreds of missions and hundreds of goals and you're like constantly fighting to just,
Mm-hmm.
make it through the day. And all of a
Mm.
sudden you're listening to birds tweeting and the crunching of the leaves or you know what? Can I give an example? This is so
Yeah.
nuts.
Go on.
I love chocolate. Oh, I freaking love chocolate. I love it. I said it. I love Galaxy and Dairy Milk, right? They're my two favorites, right?
Yeah. Go.
And this is gonna sound so mad, right? And if I tell people this, they're just like, "You're just nuts," and I probably am. But uh, basically, I was listening to this podcast, or I can't remember what I was doing, and it said, "When's the last time you tasted your food?" And I was like, "That's such a stupid thing. I taste my food every time I put it in my mouth, and I chew
Mm.
it, and I taste it, right?"
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, you know what? I love a Galaxy. So I went to the shop, I bought a Galaxy, and I was like, I'm gonna do this stupid thing of taste my food. And let me tell you something, Galaxy tastes are freaking incredible. Like when I actually realized what the bloody thing was telling me to do, was
Yeah.
actually stop, look at it, then you taste it, and you actually taste it. You don't just chew, scoff it and then put it in your belly. You actually
Mm.
appreciate the tastes of it. I was like, oh my God, just slowing down those micro minutes of the day makes
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
difference. Just makes a huge difference. So yeah, I
Mm.
don't actually know how that went into that, but
No,
I
it
hope
it
I answered
makes
the question.
no, it makes so much sense if you follow the train of thought. It like where you've ended is actually perfect because when you were talking, I was thinking what essentially you're talking about is presence, right? Being present in the moment because we live in our heads so much. There's so much going. You're thinking, oh, the future, the goals, like or something, or the rent, or the bills, or either you're stuck in the past, right? There's
Mm.
always something tugging at you. But what you're describing, like the crunch of the leaves as you're walking, listening to the birds, and these are the things I do myself, and I absolutely love it just going to the park and just giving myself that time to say, my phone's in my pocket. I'm not going to look at it for the next 30 minutes. I'm just going to look around me. And it's so good when you do that. And it's weird that you talk about the tasting thing because I did that with grapes. And for the first time I did, I was like, wait, why do I not do this with all my food? And I do this always now. Because with grapes, I was like, I put them in my mouth and I was like eating them. But when you focus on how your teeth, like, they it's almost like they rip it apart. It's like it's an explosion happening in your mouth. And the first time I did, I was like, "Oh my God, what? This is like insane." So these days when I eat, and I've been doing this for like I think over a year or two now. When I eat, no phones, no technology. I just sit there and just really like focus on the food and like the smells, the taste, just savor it. So I think what you're saying, it makes perfect sense because it talks about presence, being here in the now. And is this something you learned from therapy or did you always have this slowing down time thing?
God, no. I didn't actually learn it through therapy. It was after therapy, I listened to a lot of podcasts, I read a lot of books. And honestly, I can't remember where it was. I think it must have been a podcast or a book. And I laughed at it. And then I thought, I'm just going to give it a go. And when I did, I was like, oh my God, same experience you had with the grapes and,
Mm,
looking around and slowing down and being present. I was
mm,
like, wow, this is amazing, absolutely amazing. And I've just kind of embedded that into my life. So don't get me wrong, I don't do it every day. I don't do it every meal. I do it when I'm heightened with stress. I
okay.
purposefully find a reason to bring myself back in
Yeah.
and just be present, even if it's for like 10 seconds of the day. I will
Yeah.
just do it for 10 seconds a day because I'm not good at slowing down. I have ADHD, so I am constantly on the go, constantly on the move. My brain
Yeah.
is spiraling with thought after thought after thought.
Mm,
From the second I wake up, and this is no exaggeration, to the second I go to sleep, my brain is pretty
mm,
much going at 100 miles per hour. Even
yeah.
through burnout, my brain is just cannot stop. And I struggle with that. But then finding those moments where you can just be present and taste that food or listen to the sound or even like feel a feeling. My therapist actually did teach me this, and she was very, very calm with me because This is something I've never shared before, actually. So you'll be the first I share this with.
Getting exclusive scoop.
There you go. There you go. Just for you, mate. Just for you. But it was really strange. So I could never close my eyes in front of people. I couldn't do it. I
Mm,
physically could not close. I just did not trust anyone. So for me to close my eyes in front of someone was the
mm,
biggest heightened stress for me because I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me if I did. So yeah, my therapist, it would be just me and her in the room, nobody else. The door is closed. It's just me and her. We're in a very secure building. I
yeah,
should feel safe. So over weeks, and I'm not joking, and weeks of trying, she
yeah,
would teach me to just close my eyes in front of her. And it all started with a really small thing of touch. So what
right,
she would do is she'd be like, Vish, do me a favor. Put your fingertips on the. So I was sitting in a chair. I had armrests, and it was all fabric. So put your
mm,
fingers and then tell me what the fabric feels like. And I'll be like,
mm,
God, I hate this stuff. Like, what are you asking me to do? This is so silly.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so silly. Why are you asking me to do this?
mm,
But what she was actually doing was she was exactly what you said. She was making me present in the moment. She was like, tell
mm,
me how it feels. Okay, is it, and then I'd describe that feeling on my fingertips and what it made me feel inside. And then
yeah,
she'll be like, wiggle your bum into the seat. Okay, so I'll wiggle my bum into the seat. How does that
mm,
feel in your lower back? Does that feel secure and all this stuff? And all of a
yeah,
sudden I'm relaxing. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. And then she'll be like, let's do a breathing exercise. Okay, I'm like, for
mm.
God's sake, I breathe every day. I breathe 20. I couldn't live without breathing. I gave her attitude, man. I'll tell you, I gave my therapist attitude, man. I ain't even gonna lie.
You sound
And
like a
then
nightmare client.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, I honestly thought all of this was a bit, woo-woo, really.
Yeah,
Um, but then she'll be like, look, you're present now, and then she'll be like, do these breathing exercises, and I'll be like, I'd initially go, the attitude, of, and give her all of that, and then she's like,
yeah,
okay, you've had your fun now, let's do it properly. Okay, let's do it properly. And then she'll be like, okay, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for
yeah,
7 seconds, release for 8 seconds. It's called 4-7-8. I'll do
mm,
that. Initially, I couldn't do it because I couldn't hold my breath for 7 seconds. I had so much anxiety.
ah,
And then over the weeks, I got it up to 4-7-8. And it was like, oh my God. It was just so blissful. It was like, wow,
mm,
okay. All of the joking I was doing, the mimicking and all of that, being a class clown, essentially,
yeah,
nah, it hugely changed my life. Hugely. I do that. I do it. I done it before this podcast. I needed to
mm,
quickly ground myself, calm myself down a bit, collect my thoughts,
yeah,
and I feel good, But yeah, I'm present in this moment. My phone is off. No
yeah.
distractions, just me and you.
Wow.
So yeah, and then to cut that story short,
Mm,
I actually managed to close my eyes in front of her.
yeah.
And this was now maybe 5 years later. I was doing a speech and it was about men's mental health. And I don't know why, this was very improvised with me. I stood in front of everyone. I
Mm,
asked everyone to take 3 deep breaths with me and close our eyes. And that
yeah.
was the first time in 5 years later
Mm,
that I closed my eyes in front of a room of about 20 to 25 people and I could do it
wow.
and it was okay. So yeah, it completely changed my life. That did actually,
That's amazing.
strangely.
Yeah, what a beautiful story, Vish. I love that because like there's so many in there, so much stuff in there that I want to unpack from what you just said. Firstly, I think my initial question is, how she built the trust with you and how she got you comfortable with you. So would you say um she what is it about her that the way she sort of got you out of the class clown to, okay, let's give this a go? Like, what made you open to it?
So there's the funny side of it and then there's the serious side of it. I'll start with the funny side. She said to me, Vish, you do it or you don't do it, you're still paying me for the hour. And I
Mm,
was like, God damn it. If I if I don't do it, I'm still
Mm.
going to pay. So I may as well just do it, right?
Right.
Because I'm there for the hour. I can either stand up and leave, but I know that's not the solution. I know
Mhm.
that's in fact going to add to the problem. Or
Right.
two, I just kind of just give it a go. But the
Mhm.
other side of it, which is the more serious side of it, was she was never forceful. She we laughed and we joked and she never was a really like strict person. Like you have to do this. It
Right.
was really calm and she never rushed me into anything. She
Mm.
she allowed me to understand what she was trying to achieve. And that's the beauty of it. It wasn't that she was like, okay, you need to close your eyes right now. It was ground yourself, understand what you're feeling around you, sink into that seat. But let's build that trust with one another.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was a process. And that process is what got me to build that trust with her. So I
Yeah.
think that's so important. And I've seen 6 different therapists in 5 or 6 years, and
Yeah.
they've all been absolutely exceptional, and all have been women, and they've all been exceptional, exceptional,
Yeah.
genuinely exceptional.
Wow. Yeah, that's brilliant. I think what the invitation, I love the way you say, she invited you to do it. It wasn't like you have to do it or else. And also the money was on the line, right? It's like I've already paid. I might as well do it. And this is, I think, one thing that most men kind of struggle with. Like, oh, therapists are only after the money, all of this. But I love the fact that you've seen 6 different therapists, and it seems like you're open to this because it's taught you so much about yourself. The one thing as well I can relate to about being tense is there was a time when I was at uni and I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and we broke up. We still lived together, and the environment just became so tense. And I remember at the time I was using that app called Calm, the Calm app, and the more I used it, because I was feeling so anxious, the more I used it with meditation and grounding myself and being present, I realized that half the time I was walking around with my butt clenched and my shoulders like
Yeah.
this. And I was like, why is my butt clenched? And the more I'll just pause, just random times during the day when I was feeling a little bit emotionally overstimulated. And I would notice that my shoulders were like, tensed up, and I would relax my shoulders and clench my butt. And I would just, you know, realize that why am I just walking around like this? Number one. Number two, and I realized that that's the reason why I was always so tired. I'd felt tired because half the time I'm just like, so I love what you say about like just sat there, feel the fabric and just being open to it. Like you were stubborn, like, why do I have to do this? Being stroppy, like giving an attitude and all of that. But you open
100%.
up to it, which is brilliant. And I think there's so much to learn from that. Why do you think it's easy to swear and to just sweat and to just be yourself, right, in that regard, but you're not allowed to feel in construction? Why do you think that's acceptable?
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
It's comfortability, in my opinion.
Mm,
When we look at the construction industry, we're not talking, again, I'm gonna say this very reservingly, if you like. Majority of the people I have come across in construction haven't come from an affluent background. They
right.
haven't come from a secure background or even a steady one. So again, this is just my from what my personal view is of being in the industry for so long. I'll be honest, I found
Mm,
a lot of construction workers are in the same boat. Single parent household, haven't come from money,
right.
council estate,
Mm,
been rough. I'll be honest with you, if I speak to majority of the construction workers, especially the ones on the tools, they'll also say things like, "Oh, I ain't got GCSEs." Yeah, neither have I actually. I haven't been supported in my academic years. Yeah, neither have I. I'm neurodiverse. Oh yeah, so am I. It seems like construction workers are very similar in the sense of their upbringings, and
mm,
especially with neurodiversity, which I think is a study that's coming out more, and more
right.
research is going into it for the construction industry. And when you look at that background, swearing is very common. Like,
Mhm.
I heard my first swear word when I was like 3 years old. Do you know what I mean? It's the vocabulary that you
Yeah.
are around, you're surrounded around. So
Mm.
it's very natural
Yes.
for me to use that vocabulary in my adult life. And it's very hard not to, even at the age of 31. You'll find when I'm
Yeah.
stressed, I go back to my roots and I start going F in this and F in that. But then you have to control yourself, right?
Yeah.
You have to kind of again ground yourself and go, wait, hold on, think before you speak.
Mm-hmm.
Let me actually slow right down here. What am I trying to say? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the next part of this. It's vocabulary. And I feel this isn't a construction issue. This is a men's issue. We have been conditioned to understand anger and understand anger exceptionally well. We haven't been conditioned to explain where that anger comes from. And the more men I speak to, I understand that you resort to anger, which is like an extreme. You go from here to here really, really quickly. But the reason for that is because you actually don't understand what anxiety is, what depression is, what stress is, what's triggering you. You try and explain it, and those words come out aggressively, like, and this is shit, and that is fucking this, and it becomes
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. But hold on a second, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in your life has ever stopped you and said, let's just stop. Let's break this down. Help me understand what you're feeling. And I think vocabulary is such a huge factor that plays a huge that has a huge place in that what your question was of, why do we not express feelings, but
Yes.
we express it. I think we're trying to express our feelings through swearing
She was
because we
very
don't
right.
have the vocabulary to actually articulate our thoughts. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, yeah, there's so many layers to that, from upbringing all the way to how society pictures men. Also, the level of support and vocabulary men don't have at the moment to articulate their thoughts and feelings and emotions. And then there's the stigma attached to those emotions and feelings,
Mm-hmm.
which suppresses those emotions further until it then explodes into anger. So there's so much to unravel in just that one question. It's mind-boggling.
I really love how Vish answered this question. It's a very loaded question, and it's rhetorical in some senses, right? Because that's how people on the outside looking in probably see people like tradesmen. We look at them, we think, oh, it's easy for them to swear. It's easy for them to do all these things, but why is it not acceptable to not feel? In some senses, Vish just explained it perfectly. And this is a true example of what happens when we are oblivious and sort of ignorant to other people's circumstances, because it's really important to see things from other people's view and to appreciate that maybe what comes easy for us doesn't really register for them. Add the fact that lack of education and the fact that we're not taught how to articulate emotions and how we feel, you get a very complex situation, and I think a little compassion and kindness goes a long way. So we moved on to another loaded conversation, which was, are therapy platforms necessary for men? Do they work? And why it's important for us to have more therapy platforms?
So let's break that right down.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy platforms for men are absolutely vital. They are absolutely vital,
Mm-hmm.
right? Men will maybe in their whole entire life only get this one chance to sit opposite someone without being judged, criticized, belittled, degraded, told to man up, told to shut up, across a therapist. Because a therapist will never do that to you. A
Mm-hmm.
good therapist would never put
Yeah,
you down. What they will
absolutely.
do is they will teach you, they'll educate you, they'll give you tools and knowledge which will help you grow. Now, we've got to understand that therapy is an incredible space for men, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to have more positive stories around therapy for men. And there's other ways men can get support. Yeah, absolutely. There is the circle group and there's men's groups and there's Andy's Man Club. And
Right.
they're all doing exceptional things. Oh my
Hmm.
God, they have probably saved thousands of lives.
Hmm.
Thousands of lives. They've
Yeah.
probably created brotherhood and community
Mm.
for thousands and thousands and thousands of men. And it's incredible.
Mm.
But there's also a problem in that system. The problem is if you've got, and this isn't just for men, this is for any individualized group. If you've
Right.
got one individuality of a group, so let's say you've got a group of 10 men,
Right.
and these 10 men are coming in with problem after problem after problem. One,
Mhm.
the problem could be, um, they're going for a divorce or whatever it is. But if you're not adding perspective into that, then I personally feel that they could potentially lead to a problem. So if you haven't got a woman in the group adding, well, actually, from the female perspective,
Mm.
this is how I feel. Then right now we've got 10 men talking about the same problem.
Mm.
And it's fantastic you're talking about the same problem, but the solution may not actually be right because we're only hearing it from one gender's perspective. And I think
Mm.
that's a little bit scary. Also, I just find that all of these, there's so much space for all of these platforms to exist. I just don't think it's right for anyone to say there shouldn't be men's therapy. It's not a valuable source. I just don't agree with it at all.
Mm.
What's your thoughts on it?
So I take your point, and I really appreciate that. I think what you're saying is completely valid, and I agree with you 100%. I think the therapy platforms are important for men. We need that space to express ourselves without any judgment. So I pushed back on Vish a little bit more just to give him a different perspective, and I shared my perspective as well, that I think it is such a challenge to get men to join the conversation in the beginning. So do we really need to be creating more platforms, or do we need to be going to the root cause of why they're not joining the conversation and creating different things except for funneling men to therapy? And this is a common argument that men have. And this was Vish's response.
I love that. I absolutely love that, mate. Like, I don't want to take that away from you in any way, shape, or form, and I don't want to take it away from anyone else who has the same ideology. But I, again, internalize and generalize. For
Mm.
me personally, when I was going through my roughest stages, a group wouldn't have helped me. It wouldn't have helped me. It wouldn't have stopped me wanting to end my life.
Mm.
And I strongly believe that. And that's where I believe a therapist was just an absolute godsend for me.
Mhm.
So again, there's again, I think we've got to break it right back down to what stage are we talking at? Are we
Mm.
talking at a stage where somebody's just unhappy with their job? I'll say just very loosely, but in fact, I'll stop saying the word just because I think that really is a horrible word to use actually. So sorry
Mm.
for saying that. But
No,
let's say somebody's struggling with their job and they really want to find a way out. I personally think maybe a group could add perspective to that. Maybe they can say, oh, you can try X, Y, and Z. Maybe they can initiate new ideas. And then let's go down another route of, again, like let's say a guy's going through a really, really horrible divorce, right?
right.
He's going to lose his house, he's going to lose his kids, he's going to lose everything. Maybe the group can provide community, but I believe a therapist can provide solutions,
Yeah.
especially around anxiety and the burnout and all the stress that that individual will be going through. And then
Yes.
let's take it up another level. Let's really go extreme here. Let's talk about the guys who are thinking of ending their life. Those people going into a group full of geezers chatting about other things, that may increase the stress on this person who wants to end their life. And that could be extremely difficult. But if they saw a therapist, then the therapist could break all of these things down and make sure they're back to a safer space for them and their loved ones. So
Okay.
again, I think there is a space for all of these things. We just can't exclude therapy for men and actual
Uh,
platforms for men because these platforms have never really existed. And now that they are existing, we've got to give it time for men to go, I feel safe. Let me give you an example, right? And this is quite a deep one. I had a client reach out to me and they were struggling with domestic violence through their partner who was a female. And I was like, gosh, I don't personally, Onward Shift doesn't support in that exact space. We don't have those specialists on board yet. And I just jumped on Google and I was like, okay, what do I do in this situation? I want to, even if I can signpost him somewhere else, I want to do that. Typed into Google, mental health support for domestic violence abuse, support for men. And the first charity that came up was support for women. So
Mm,
Google hasn't acknowledged that. No, I'm saying a man needs support. And then I
mm,
go onto the website, which was the National Helpline for Domestic Violence or Abuse, and
mm,
it's by a company called Refuge who support that. And every single picture shares a man as the abuser. Every positive story is a woman who's got help, a woman who's found support, a woman who's got the support she needs.
mm.
Fantastic. I called the helpline because I was like, okay, I still want to signpost him somewhere, and I'm not sure if I can signpost him here. So I called the helpline, and it took me through, to press this button, press this button, press this button, and it was all around women support, right? It was
Mm.
if you would you like to speak to a, you know, this nationality, or I can't remember, chaperone or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Anyway, I waited 6.5 minutes on hold for the first message to come up of, if you are a male victim, please contact another number, which opens at 10 a.m., by the way. And I was like, this is what my point here isn't to say that those companies shouldn't exist. They should exist, and there should be support for women,
Mm.
but we need to create safe spaces for men to finally get the support. They shouldn't have to wait on hold 6.5 minutes and then be signposted to another company that's open much short amount of time. So we
Mm.
need to build these platforms, and then men will naturally just go to them. In my opinion. In my opinion.
Right. The conversation you just talked about, mate, that's a very nuanced conversation, because when we start talking like that, and there's people who are going to start thinking, oh, misogyny. Are you saying that women don't suffer? And I completely get what you're saying, mate. I had a similar experience. I was looking for links. Same thing, domestic violence. I think I found one. It was, what was that? Just similar to you, because I was trying to find directly for men, and because I was reading the Lost Boys, and I was just going through that Lost Boys thing.
It's a
I was
heartbreaking
looking at that,
article.
yeah, but I found one called Respect Men's Advice Line, and that's like, I think it's geared towards like DV for men, but it was just like you say, it's not the first thing that pops up. You have to scour through it and, like, sift through it to find it. And I think it's really important for us to do that. But as I said, these conversations are very sensitive, and because women do suffer at the hands of men mostly, right? Which I get. Women are like struggling, but men as well, because men are overlooked. Like, some people don't even believe that men can be sexually assaulted. Some people don't believe that men could be victims of domestic violence. So you're touching on a very important point there, and I really appreciate that.
Can I just say something? This is not a misogynistic conversation in any way, shape, or form, ever. And if anyone thinks that way, then they're absolutely wrong.
Exactly.
If And let's break it down, right? You touched on
Mm.
something absolutely right. And let's just talk about UK, because I don't know the worldwide statistics
Exactly.
behind this. I think it's 6.6% of domestic violence cases in the UK are women, and that's heartbreaking. And nobody should ever, not man, not a woman, should ever take anything away from that. And it's clearly a problem, and those problems need to be addressed. And I don't want anyone listening to this podcast thinking that we're not saying, we are saying that. That's absolutely vital. But the
Mhm.
point here is, over 700,000 men in the UK just last year reported domestic violence in the UK, that they were victims of that. That's 700,000 victims just in this country. And we need to create spaces for these men to get
Yeah.
the same level of support as the women do.
Right.
Because I've actually written a post about this a long, long time ago. It stresses me out and it gives me anxiety, because the truth is, it's not about men or women, it's about individual victims. And we've
Right.
got to, at some stage, acknowledge that it doesn't matter if you're a man, it doesn't matter if you're a woman. If you are a victim, you need to get support. and we need to balance up the support, and we can't.
Right.
And that's going to take a long time. It's a process. It's a process. And conversations like this ain't negative. They're positive because we're building awareness around something that's serious. And the more stigma that is broken down around men's mental health, the more men that will speak up and go, I've actually been affected by this. We need to have structures in place for these men to directly go to. Either that's a helpline, if that's a support network system like Andy's Man Club, or if that's therapy. We need several different sources. We need to keep all of these doors open because, again, each man is individual. The support they will need is individual. And we just need to have lots of different levels for these men to get support. Just like it's exactly the same for women. There's no difference here. The victim is a victim, and we need to find the right support for that victim. So that's my point on it, really.
Yeah. Getting passionate there, Vish.
I feel sad. I feel really, really sad, mate. Like I feel really, really sad. Like genuinely feel sad for people. Like when you take gender out of it, people are people. We've all got a heartbeat, and and you know what? When I was younger, I was taught this one thing, right? Doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, what gender. It doesn't matter who you are. If we're all running a race and we all fall over and we graze our knees, we're all going to bleed the same color blood. We're all the same. We're all the same. And it just hurts me, man. It hurts me a lot when I hear these sad stories, and I hear them from men and I hear them from women, and I'm just like, gosh, it hurts your feelings. It's like, oh my God. It's really hard to listen to. And I just feel so sorry for people who are going through that. And I just want to see victims as victims. And I just want to find a way. This is why Onward Shift for me is acknowledges the construction industry is 85% male, but we would never in our life close the door to a woman wanting support. This is why we've got so many female coaches, so many female counselors. We've got females on our podcast. It's so important to break that the gender. It's so important. It's so important. That's why Onward Shift from the day it was invented to the forever, I hope, will always be gender neutral. It will be, doesn't matter who needs help. If we can help you, we will help you. I get passionate about it. I do, man. I really do. I really do.
No, I love that. You said something really beautiful. Is that, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. Victim is a victim, right? I love that. Okay, so thank you for that. A victim is a victim. I love that. And I love these conversations, and I love being on this journey because I've met people like Vish. I became mates with this guy, and he's a decent geezer and like very down to earth and just authentic, and you can tell the passion he has for this. It's not about the money for him. It's about helping people. And I'm so pleased that I can live this life meeting people who are equally as passionate as me, and we're on this journey together. And yeah, I'm truly blessed, and there's you guys listening. I'm so thankful for this, and I don't ever take it for granted.
This is going to sound so blessed that women can come up to me and just chat to me, and I think that's so important. Like, it is so important that men can go to women and women can go to men, because that's when we break misunderstandings and communication. When we actually listen with empathy and genuine compassion, like genuine compassion of, oh my God, like like you just look into their eyes and you go, I'm just so sorry you're going through this. And when you actually chat to people like that, you actually forget if they're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. Because it's their story and it's their hurt. And you listen to and you just go, Jesus Christ, I'm just so sorry. Like, I'm genuinely just so sorry you're going through this. And that type of awareness builds knowledge, and that knowledge you can then have a broader understanding of. Again, I'll go back to a victim as a victim. It doesn't matter about gender. It's just heartbreaking. I know it breaks my heart all the freaking time. And I struggle now to read stuff all the time. I've had to take a step back because it hurts so much. So yeah, man. Sorry, just got a bit freaking got deep again. It does hurt. It hurts. It hurts, man. It hurts.
So I wanted to sort of focus on the boys, lads, the young men who are in construction at the moment, or the young men who are considering construction, and I'd formulated this question asking Vish what would he say to his younger version who's about to step into construction or who was already in construction. I really enjoyed how and realistic his answer was. So here it is.
You're going to hear stories about the construction industry. You're going to hear about the mental health crisis. You're going to hear about all the negatives. But I promise you, there's incredible people in this space doing incredible things. And, you know, we will all keep continuing to fight for a better construction. And we're not going to stop until it's where we want it to be. And that is two things. One, we reduce the suicide rates. And two, we improve mental well-being. And we will be relentless, absolutely relentless until we achieve that goal. And that's the truth. I don't want to sell a fake dream to anyone, and I wouldn't. It's hard. It's very hard. It's pure grit. You've got to have a certain characteristic about you to be in construction, and that's the beauty of it. Because when you're in it, there's beautiful things that happen in construction. It's incredible. You know, it's absolutely incredible. When you can, you know, I always say like I've not just done a bit of electrical work. I've created a bit of art. Because when I stand back and look at my work, and at the end of the day, and I just go, God damn, that's just so nice. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I've done this a long time, and I'm not the best. I never say I'm the best at anything. My job title was always apprentice because I always want to learn. Doesn't matter how I can be 60 years old, I'd still be called an apprentice because I want to learn. But you know, there's so much appreciation for your own work, and you know, there's beautiful things that happen in construction. And yes, it's hard, but things will improve. Just stick through it. Stick through it.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant industry to work in.
Yeah. I'm also not sure I agree with you, Vish. You said you're not the best. You said you were the champion of hoovering. So, you know.
No, you cannot drop that on a podcast. You know what's funny? I can't believe it. I LinkedIn post pretty much every day, right? And that's the one that went viral. I was cracking up at that. I was absolutely cracking up at that. But yes, I am the champion at hoovering, and I would have a hoover off with anyone. I don't care who you are. I am the best at hoovering. Actually, I'm probably hoovering tonight as well today. So I'm like, yeah, let's hoover near my Henry.
I'll get the Henry. Yeah, all right, we get it, Vish. You love hoovering. Noted. So, you know, this is the main quality I think that really makes Vish a pleasant person to be around. You know, he's very light-hearted, and he tries to bring a sense of humor into his life. You know, to have a good laugh. And this is one of the things he told me about himself when we first started speaking. And I remember I was stressed and I was like all serious and stuff like that. And he just, you know, he was very lighthearted with it. And he just basically reminded me to always have fun, you know, to find little moments to just have fun and just have a good laugh. But this man truly has a heart of gold. And one of the things that really hit me hard was him trying to basically shine a light on the fact that construction workers are still human. You know, even they might be these men who might seem like they're rough around the edges, or they're hard men, you know, like the last lad sort of kind of types. You know, he advocates for better, you know, break rooms, like, you know, when they're having their dinner, places to actually sit, more sanitary toilets and restrooms and cleaner equipment and things like that. You know, I think this is really what we need, you know, because sometimes we can have this stereotype that these men are hard, you know, they're lifting heavy stuff all day and they're doing X, Y, Z, and we forget that they're human too. And as Vish put it, they are just as important as the CEO, because to be honest, without these guys, you wouldn't have functioning buildings. So he's got a point. But we got to another point where Vish gave an intriguing and telling answer to one of my questions when I asked him, at what point did it become for you, someone's going to sort this out, to, right, it's going to have to be me. I'm going to have to just lead the way.
I'm not a leader. I don't want to call myself that. I'm just an electrician who's trying his best. Very tricky question to answer that, because I don't see myself as like anything special. I don't see myself as a leader. I'm just a geezer trying my best to implement a positive change. And I think there's incredible companies out there doing incredible things, and I don't want to take anything away from them. I want to add to them. I want to be another support. You know how I was saying how men should have counseling, therapy, community groups, helplines, all of this. There's a lot in construction, and I don't want to take anything away from that. I want to add something into that so that
Right.
construction workers have another space to go to.
Mm.
You know, I just that's my vision. I don't want to take anything away from anyone. I want to add to improve. So I don't think this is my mission. I think this is the construction industry's mission. And over the last year or so, I've seen a lot of positive changes. I've heard a lot of conversations from leaders like CEOs and directors of big corporations acknowledging these issues. We've also got to understand it's a huge, like industry is huge. It's got what, 2.15 million people in it. And we've got, I couldn't even guess at how many tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of building sites we have in the UK. And that's not even incorporating small domestic projects like an extension refurbishment where you've got a portaloo outside which is blocked and covered in crap. So when you actually look at construction, you can't just go, oh, we're talking about construction sites. We also need to accommodate things for mobile engineers. There's so much to unwrap and unravel. And I hope that Onward Shift can be a place where people have a voice and can be heard. But also we've got the therapists, we've got the counseling, we've got the coaches, we've got the podcast, we've got like 16 different services for people to hopefully go to and go, yeah, I feel good here. So I'm an apprentice, my friend. I will always be an apprentice of whatever I do.
I love that. Yeah, very shows humility. You're not suddenly the hero of the story, and you're learning. One thing that really surprised me was 94% of construction workers report stress. This was on one of the things you said. I think it was on one of your articles on your website or something, or LinkedIn, I'm not sure. But yeah, you said 94% of construction workers report stress. What's happening, mate?
That's a great question. What happened was there was a Chartered Institute of Building, which is CIOB, done a mental health research study in 2020, and they've done the same research study in 2025. And they found that anxiety, stress, suicidal thoughts, and several different other areas of regarding mental health had all got worse over the last 5 years. So I believe, I read this so long ago now, but I believe they'd done the study on around 2,000 to 2,500 people. And from that, they found that over 90% of people were struggling with stress. They also came out with the reasons why. And the reasons why, I believe, were things like financial pressures. And to add another statistic into that, On the Tools carried out a research study around mental health in construction. And they found that over 60% of construction workers really struggle with financials. So, to add, so you can actually see a correlation there between CIOB and On the Tools research. It's sharing the same narrative. We've also got the peer pressure of, we always see construction workers, laddie and laughy, jokey, but behind that, there's actually a considerable amount of pressure that they're put under for timelines and deadlines of completing jobs. And that pressure takes a huge toll on your body. So you can start Monday feeling fresh and I'm going to take on the world. By Thursday, your body's like, oof, car, I'm feeling this. Like, God, I've driven maybe 20 hours already this week. I've been lifting 20 kg tall bags and conduits and all of this up and down stairs because the hoist is broken or whatever. All of a sudden, you do that year on, year out. Your knees hurt, your back hurts, your brain starts hurting, you age considerably. And, that's another part of it. Then we've also got the part of it where two construction workers are committing suicide every single day in UK. On top of that, around 50% of apprentices drop out by year 4. And then we add, on top of that, we need an additional 251,000 workers in construction in the next 3 years. So that's around 83,000 new staff per year. And then you add on top of that, where we talk about pressure. Well, the government has announced they want to build 1.5 million homes, I think within 4 years. That's an additional 200,000 to 300,000 houses per year. And if they do not build that regarding the builders will be fined. Okay. So when you look at big building companies, let's look at, I don't know, Bellway, right? Let's go for Bellway, a huge company who
Okay.
build houses throughout the country. What people don't realize is Bellway don't have a lot of permanent staff. They subcontract all of their work out to smaller companies. Now,
Right.
these smaller companies can't always accept a fine. They're
Mhm.
already competing to get the jobs, and now they're going to be fined if they don't deliver, which means the guys on the tools are now having to work 7 days a week in, week out. And these are the things where we're breaking things down. It's really fascinating. And I went to a mental health summit not too long ago. I think it was maybe within the last 30 days, I believe. Time flies, I can't remember days. And it was an absolutely incredible summit. That's what they called it, the construction summit. It was
Yeah.
in the Gherkin, it was on the top floor. It was by B1M, who are an incredible platform to
Yeah.
support the construction industry, and they basically had the people on the tools talking, and the people on the tools are really frustrated of the management, but then they had another panel of the management talking, and the management are really frustrated at the clients because the clients are the ones who are putting all the pressure on, and the clients are like investors or
Yeah.
consultant companies and all of that. They're putting the pressure on, so you think that this pressure isn't coming from the middle ground, it's coming from the top, fizzling all the way down to the bottom. So when we talk about a mental health crisis, until we start solving things from the top, the bottom is going to be really hard to get that message across to. Challenging, but it's okay because we love a challenge. So we will continue to fight for it.
That's that's amazing. That's like a good point because the pressure always trickles down from the top. Even in corporate, it's always coming from the top, just trickling down. The managers are stressed, so they're micromanaging the staff so to make sure the staff hits the deadline so they can look good to the it's yeah, mate, it's trying to fix the world at this point. Like you said, we're up for the challenge. Throughout this podcast, Vish has alluded to the fact that he's neurodivergent, he's got ADHD and OCD. And I asked him about a quote that he said one time, and he goes,
I can't believe how far back you've gone on my bloody profile. How many posts have you read of mine, man? Good stuff, good stuff. At least it's getting out there.
So he went on to elaborate on his experience living with ADHD and OCD.
Yeah, so I've got ADHD and OCD because why only settle for one when you can have two, you know?
2 for 1.
So there you go. So my OCD really is the bad one, I'd say. OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. And what that means is I can't settle down occasionally. So I'll give you an example. This is when I had my own company as an electrician. I was living in a flat, so my van would be parked outside.
Mm.
I would come inside and I'd sit on the sofa after a long day's work, and I'd be like, God, did I close the door? Like the front door.
Yeah.
And I could see it. I could see it. I know it's closed, but did I close it? I don't
Mm.
know. Oh, let me get up and check. I'll walk over to the door, close it. Yeah, I definitely close it. Sit back down. Then I go, did I close the door? God, did I do it properly? I don't know.
Oh, damn.
I'd I'd get up again, close the door. Yep, definitely done it. And this is no exaggeration, right?
Mm.
I'd maybe do that 10 times. And
Wow.
then I'd be like, okay, it's definitely closed, Vish. Calm down, it's closed, it's closed, it's closed. And
Mm.
then another thought will trigger in my head. Did I lock the van? And you're like, oh, you can't sleep. You
Mm.
can't settle.
Yeah.
So you open the door that you've just closed 10 times to go downstairs to check if you locked the van. Yeah, of course I locked the van. I never not locked the van. God,
Mm.
okay, I've locked the van. Then I come upstairs and I close the door. And honestly, it would spiral. And I found when I had severe anxiety and stress and I was under a lot of pressure, my OCD would just elevate, and elevate.
Yeah.
So it got to the stage where all the tins in my, like in my cupboard. So I would have the beans, the
Mm.
sweet corn, the mixed beans, the whatever else, kidney beans, whatever I had in there. I would then make them all straight. I'd make every single one straight. And then I'd sit down and I'd go, I need to put them in date order. So then I'd take everything out.
Yeah.
I'd get the date order. I'd go back in date order. And then I'd be like, oh, gotta do the fridge as well. Then the freezer. And then all of a sudden, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and I haven't stopped. I just haven't stopped. I had blinds. So I had three huge windows, beautiful, right? There's lots of sunlight in. One thing I should have thought about is I didn't get one blind to cover all three windows. I got three separate blinds, and I'm not exaggerating this, right? I would not leave to go to work until all three blinds bang on straight. I
Oh,
couldn't leave for work. I would think something really bad would happen to me if I left for work and those blinds weren't straight. And this is again where therapy changed my freaking life.
yeah.
Changed my freaking life,
Mm.
right? Because what my therapist was the one who diagnosed me, and she would slowly break these things down. She would say, Vish, I want you to do something wild. Okay, God, what do you want me to do? Vish, I want you to purposefully do the blinds wrong. Have them like a different up, down, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, you're freaking crazy. You're the crazy one, not me.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, no, do it, do it. We've got another appointment in a week's time. You know, it'll be all right. And I did it. I did it.
Mm.
When I mean I did it by centimeters, like this much. I left the house.
Mm.
Nothing bad happened to me, man. I was fine. I just had a normal day, and I'd come home and I'd build that courage and I'd change it again, only slightly.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be all right. Got to the stage where
Mm.
then my therapist was like, Vish, don't do your bed. I was like, you're wild. You're wild, man. You're absolutely freaking wild. Who are you? And I stopped doing my bed, and I stopped, and nothing bad happened to me. And nothing bad happened. That I didn't do my bed, and my blinds were wobbly. And it just, again, therapy done that. Therapy changed me. Like therapy helped me a lot. And ADHD, when you add ADHD to the mix, your head is constantly spiraling. You're absolutely buzzing all the time. You've got constant energy. It's exhausting. But again, I saw an ADHD coach, and
Yeah.
she, phenomenal, phenomenal, my friend, phenomenal. She changed me, man. Not only did she save me from understanding all the issues I have, but I actually asked my partner to come to my coaching sessions, and that was a game changer. When me and my partner sat there and she understood why I was doing the things I was doing,
Things, yeah.
she then had empathy and compassion towards me,
Mm.
and she helped me. And we came together, we started solving these issues. And now we're like, honestly, me and my partner are best mates. Like, you know, we talk on the phone all day, every day. But I couldn't see my life without her. So yeah, and coaching helped with that. And this is what I mean, like the therapy and the coaching and the counseling is all so beneficial if we just give it a bloody shot. And I
Mm.
really want men to give it a shot. Don't come to Onward Shift. I don't care. Go somewhere else. Fine. Just do it for yourself. Do it
Mm.
for yourself, you know? Yeah,
Yeah.
so again, very,
Wow.
very passionate.
Amazing. No, I love that. What's one moment you'd say inside Onward Shift that's made you go, yeah, like this matters and like this is like actually working?
Gosh, there's so many, man. It makes me sad, really, actually, because I'd say my podcast is probably the most heartfelt thing. Like to have men come onto my podcast, or just even women, you know, anyone who comes on the podcast and they share their knowledge and their vulnerabilities and and what they've been through. And you know, a lot of my podcasts are really deep, like really deep. We talk about suicide, we talk about PTSD, we talk about mental health, we talk about anxiety, depression, divorce, gambling, steroid addiction, gambling addiction, alcohol addiction. We talk about the deep, deep, deep stuff. But to hear these people share their stories and have that much courage to come out and speak, and then at the end of every one of my podcasts, I just go, wow, like, I'm so blessed to have you on this, and your message is going out to other people. And if we can just have one person hear that conversation and feel good and just help them, then wow, you know what I mean? Wow,
Mm.
you know, wow, yeah.
That's,
But obviously,
yeah.
you know, we've got the coaches, we've got the counselors, we've got the toolbox talks, we've got the blogs, the walk and talk event. We've got the check-in buddy system, which I'll be working on this weekend again to automate it, so things are going to get quicker and faster. I really hope Onward Shift is there to help people, and we're adding to all the other incredible support services that are already out there. I want to be a part of the team, you know. I
Mm.
really do. I really want to help people, man. Genuinely, genuinely.
Yeah.
I've been through so many dark spaces in my life. If Onward Shift can help people the same way I was helped once, then
Yeah.
I feel like I could die a peaceful death.
Everything you're saying, I'm feeling right now with you. Like, I'm so grateful you coming onto this space and sharing your story, and just being so open. And like you say, if one person could listen and it helps them, like you're saying, I could die in peace, And if it's not viral, it's not trying to. It's about really just touching the lives of people that we're helping. So thank you so much, Fish. So like people have like smoke breaks.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have for a fag
yeah,
for like 5 minutes.
yeah,
It's like accepted. It's like you can go for a fag like
yeah, yeah,
five
yeah.
minutes.
So yeah,
Or like a tea break. I'm gonna go make a cuppa.
mhm.
So I'm saying
Oh,
if
I
there was a
see. Sorry,
feelings
the
break,
feeding breaks. Gotcha. Yeah, 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 yeah.
how long should that be?
Yeah, it's a really good question because we all know the time pressures the construction industry is under. Job, 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 job. Bang them
Mm,
out.
yeah.
Um, Honestly, I think it should start with like 30 seconds, just going, "How you doing, mate? You all right?" And then
Mm,
pausing and go, "No, mate, honestly, are you all right? Like,
yeah.
everything good, yeah?"
Mm,
And that could be a 30-second conversation to a minute conversation. It doesn't need to go deep, real quick, instantly. It's
mm,
just getting to the baseline of caring and having compassion for your fellow workers, even if you ain't in the same company or you're doing different things. An electrician and a plumber can actually be friends. We don't
mm,
have to be arch enemies or especially plasterers who are constantly plastering over electricians' cables. We don't
yeah.
have to be enemies. We can be enemies at that exact moment of time where you're going, for God's sake, stop plastering over my damn cables. But after that brief moment, you can go, all jokes aside, you're right, mate. Like, how's things at home? How's your weekend been? We can ask these small micro questions which lead to friendships and connections. So I don't think there's a specific time, but I think we can all make 30 seconds in our working day to ask the person next to us how we are. I don't think that's a challenge. I don't think that's too much to ask for from anyone. So we just all check in with one another.
Yeah. That's brilliant, mate. Yeah, a bit of an unfair questions there. I had to ask you, I know. As it also happens, Vish is also working on a product, which is a perfect segue for this question of checking in with others.
We've got the check-in buddy system, which is I'm currently, so it is live, but I'm working on it to make it even better. So we're on version 3 of that now, and I'm hoping within the next 30 days that will be launched and ready to go. Honestly, if you want to learn more about what we do or find mental health support, check out onwardshift.com and you will find something which will be beneficial for you or your company because we support both B2B and B2C. So, and on our platform online, we've got everything. We've got all of our coaches, all of our counselors, we've got all of our keynote speakers. We've got around 30 people on the
Mm,
platform now. We've got over 50 blogs you can read, from the statistics around mental health to why we need more women in construction to
mm,
masculinity. There's so much like articles there. Then we've also got over 40 podcasts with over 25 different guests. So you can listen into them. You've got a networking event we do, which is a walk and talk event in Colchester in
mm,
Essex, which anyone's welcome to. Is completely free of charge.
mm. Love that. Well, thank you so much for your time, Vish. This has been brilliant and wholesome. And yeah.
Mate, honestly, I just want to say thank you. That conversation was not expected to go as deep, as quick, and as for as long as we did. I think we touched on some incredible points, and I think the thing that I've really felt the most passionate about still is a victim is a victim. Doesn't
Mm,
matter who they are, where they've come from, what their background is. Doesn't matter. A victim is a victim, and the world just needs to find ways to support people. And I hope people like yourself and me and many others can come together and find the best ways to support people, because that's the end goal for every one of us in the mental health game, is to
mm,
help people, to support people, and I just want us all to come together and make it happen. I really do.
yeah.
I really, really do. So thank you so much for giving me the space to talk. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for listening. I will catch you guys on the next episode. Be well. Have a great day, great weekend. Take care of yourselves out there. Cheers.